Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luca. I'm an AI experimenter, and today I'm going to show you how to automate the enrichment of prospect data by using the combined power of Zapier, RocketReach, Google Sheets, Relevance AI, and Gmail. So with that being said, let's get into it. So as you can see here on my screen, we are on the Canvas feature of Zapier. And for those of you who don't know, Zapier is an automation platform that's targeted towards people that want to get their feet wet in the game of automation, but don't really know how to code, just like myself. And here, I'm going to teach sales professionals how to use Zapier to automate the enrichment of prospect data and also company data as well before we do outreach. So that being said, you can see a four-part automation that we're going to build today. So the first part is once the potential prospect is entered into RocketReach as a new contact, we will then take that data, input into Google Sheets, and then from Google Sheets, we'll take some pieces of that data, which you'll see in a second, and then ask our AI agent to then find a lot more about the specific person and also the company. And then from there, our AI agent is going to craft an email to us that provides an overview of that company and the prospect we're going to reach out to. So that being said, let's start building it. Do that in RocketReach by going to the API section of RocketReach. So just to show you, you go here, you go to integrations, API usage. You copy this key over here, and then you input it into, once you click the change account, you can then input your API key. There'll be a little screen that pops up. So pretty simple. So you go to RocketReach, and then for the contacts on the test, let's go back here. I'm going to search up Lewis Hamilton. So search up Lewis Hamilton. And we're going to pick the F1 driver. So here we have his emails and everything. We're going to blur it out just for the sake of privacy, but we have Lewis Hamilton's contact information in terms of business. And then we can input that into the get contacts. So we're going to put that in there. Go to my contacts. And Lewis Hamilton is here. So then we go back to RocketReach. We pick contact D because that's Lewis Hamilton. We continue with the selected record. And then the next step, as hopefully you guys remember, is we're going to input Lewis Hamilton's data into Google Sheets. So let's click on Google Sheets as the first action event. We're going to go and create a new spreadsheet row. We're going to pick our account, which is already set for me, luckily. So then see how there's a red asterisk? That means that information is required to move forward with this part of the automation. So our spreadsheet, we're going to do RocketReach test. For worksheet, we're going to do Rocket Zapier. And then we're just going to fill out the different columns. So we already have some of the columns here. I already have some people that I reached out to, or not reached out to, but more so some of their information. For example, name, company, job title, location, email. So then now what we're going to do is then go back into Zapier and kind of mix and match the information. So for name, we go back here, we put Lewis, and then put a space, Hamilton, company. He drives for Ferrari, so that's what we're going to put his current employer name, Ferrari, job title. He's an F1 driver, current job title, location. Where is Lewis Hamilton based out of? Location. Monaco. He lives in Monaco because even though the team's based in Ferrari, a lot of the Formula One drivers don't live in where the team is based most of the time. And then for email, we're going to do recommended work email. So this email, which I'm going to blur off for the sake of privacy. I'm going to click continue. We're going to test the step. So let's see if it actually sends it into Google Sheets. It says it does. And then let's go back to RocketReach, and Lewis Hamilton's information is in my RocketReach test. However, we're not done yet because it's only the second part of the automation. Now we're going to go to the third part of the automation. So we're going to go and then we're going to add contact here, or add the action step, and that's going to be going to Relevance AI, which is my AI agent platform. And I'm going to explain to you what I created and what it's going to do. So action event first, though, is you're going to message the agent, which I created. And then the agent ID is the name of the agent. So I'm going to look over here where there's 3 different agents. There's the sales info agent, company info agent, and person info agent. We're going to pick the sales info agent. And the reason why is in this automation, think of the sales info agent like a manager that has 2 employees working underneath him or her. So the company info agent and the person info agent are actually working underneath the sales info agent, but they each have very specific roles. The company info agent, for example, is only going to search up information related to Ferrari. The person info agent is only going to search up information related to Lewis Hamilton. And then once they find the information, they'll pass it over to their manager, who is a sales info agent. And the sales info agent who is then going to do the last part of the automation, which is sending the email to me with the briefing. So we're going to pick the sales info agent, and in the message, we're going to write, please find information related to. And in order to make this dynamic, we're not going to just write Lewis Hamilton. We're going to do, because we're not only going to search up Lewis Hamilton to feature its automation, we're actually going to search up other people as well. But it means it has to be dynamic value. It means it has to change depending on who the new contact is. So we're going to put, please find information related to Lewis Hamilton. So we can click first name, space, last name, and its employer, which is Ferrari. And then once you do so, write a briefing in the format given in your instructions and send it automatically once you are done to the given email using your tools. Yeah. Using your tools. Okay, so let's put that in, and then we're going to do a little test. And I'm going to show you what the format is and everything and the instructions in a second, but we're going to test a step while it's working. I'm going to show you it. So we're going to test a step, sending it. Okay. Okay. So now the message was sent to Relevance AI. So let's go back here and see, it just updated. So now it's doing its work. But while it's doing its work, I'm going to go back into the build mode. Okay, it's going to do autonomously now. So just so you see the instructions, here's what I gave it. So your info agent decide to provide information on people and companies, and then it's going to send email. So I gave it some instructions related to if you're going to call the person info agent, if you're going to call the company info agent. And once you do that, then do this. So first, get all the necessary data, which is all this stuff for both the company and the person. Then I want you to write the body of the email, which is in this format, which you can just create using ChatGPT or another LLM. It's really that simple. I use ChatGPT for this case. Set the email and subject line, which I want to be the person's name and company overview. And then once you do that, then send the email automatically by using this tool, which you can then go and create by either going to add tool here or go to tool here, and then putting the authentication, everything, and then adjusting the settings a little bit. So let's go back to run. Let's see if it did it. Okay, so it did send it actually. So before we actually go and check the email and finish the video, I want to show you what it was doing in the background. So first, it delegated to the file person info agent. So let's view that conversation. And it said, please provide information. This is the agent's agent. This wasn't even me or you. This is the agent doing that. And then this is what the agent found. And then let's go to the file company info agent. It did that autonomously as well. And then So it found all information related to Ferrari, and then it sent this email. Now let's see if it's factually correct. Lewis Hamilton is an F1 driver. He drives for Ferrari, which is true. He drove for Mercedes and McLaren. It's also true. He launched a couple of business side ventures. And then Ferrari, this is also true as well. We can also fact check this. We're not going to do it for this video, but it's also important to fact check all this information. But now let's see if it actually came in. So it did. So look at this. Hello, Luca. Hope you're doing well. As requested, here's a brief overview. So now I have this overview. So if I'm going to call Lewis Hamilton, I already have a high-level overview of who Lewis Hamilton is. And this is just one automation you could do with RocketReach, Zapier, all those different apps. There's infinite ways you can combine these different apps together. Think about these apps like puzzle pieces. You're just trying to connect the puzzle pieces or Lego blocks together. And it's really simple, especially the fact that you don't even need to know how to code to do this anymore. You just gotta let your imagination go wild and play the game like a puzzle. So hope this was useful to you guys, and I'll see you next time.